Hello, hello, this is Gemini, your friendly neighborhood spy, back today with yet another drawing video. So I decided this time that I was going to draw Mia from Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn if she was a Pokemon trainer. I actually love drawing Fire Emblem characters if they were Pokemon trainers. Back when I first got a drawing tablet many years ago, it was actually one of the first things that I drew back then. I drew Nino if she had a Victini. I drew Lynn with a Scyther, Kanaz with a Kricketune. I don't even remember why I picked some of those in some cases, but yeah, it was just something I really liked doing. And it was like so long ago, I don't even know where those drawings are, if I still have them anywhere on my computer, but it was something that I liked drawing all the way back then. So it was on my mind again, and I thought it'd be fun to do another Fire Emblem Pokemon drawing because I actually just recently watched through Pokemon Horizons. If you're not familiar with it, Pokemon Horizons is the latest season in the long-running Pokemon anime, and it's actually the first season where Ash is no longer the main character. Like, I very much grew up watching Pokemon, but it's been a long time since I actually watched the anime. I don't think I really watched the anime since, like, the Hoenn seasons. Like, those are the last memories that I have from the Pokemon anime. So, like, I grew up with it, and, like, I definitely had an attachment to Ash because of that, like, childhood connection. But at the same time, I was just really curious about what the show would be like with him no longer as the main character, so I was interested in seeing what it was. It was really just my curiosity that drove me to watch Horizons, and I wasn't really sure if I'd actually watch it. I thought I would just maybe watch an episode or two just to see what they did with it. But then I actually got really into it and enjoyed it quite a bit, so I watched the whole season. I think there's only a single season so far, but I really liked it. I had a lot of fun watching it, and it just kind of put me in a little bit of a Pokemon mood. So I just, like, I don't really know why exactly Mia. It's just, she popped into my head, and I just had this mental image of if she was a Pokemon trainer, and that's what I ended up deciding to draw. So here we are with Mia. I spent some time thinking about what kind of Pokemon she would train if she was a trainer. And obviously, if you're watching the drawing, you can see I picked Infernape. I think it's a good fit for her, personally. I feel like Mia would be a fighting type trainer, and I also feel like the fire fits in with her personality pretty well. She has a pretty fiery personality. She likes to train, she likes to fight, and I just feel like Infernape fits her personality pretty well. So I think it'd be a good Pokemon for her. It always makes me, whenever I do one of these drawings, I always think about that game that came out that was, I think it was a crossover between Samurai Warriors and Pokemon. And it played like a Fire Emblem game where it was an SRPG. And I know I'm not the only person that has said this, but it'd be really cool to see Fire Emblem get that treatment and get a crossover with Pokemon. I'd really enjoy that, especially if it touched on all of the different Pokemon, like all the different Fire Emblem games instead of just being focused on the more recent ones. Like, I would love to see like a Fire Emblem Pokemon crossover that had like at least a few characters from every region. But you never know, maybe someday we'll get that, or at least something Pokemon Fire Emblem. But in the meantime, I can at least draw Fire Emblem characters if they were Pokemon trainers. So I took some inspiration from a couple different like Pokemon trainer art that I looked up, and I used obviously Mia's art as a reference as well while I was working on this. And part of what I was thinking about while I was drawing this is I was trying to get away a little bit from focusing so much on outlines, on line art in my drawings. That's something that I feel like I let take control of my art a little bit too much. And I saw a video on YouTube that was basically about de-emphasizing line art in drawing, and that's what I decided I wanted to kind of work on in this art piece. So you'll find that I still have like some line art, but it's a lot lighter, or I've gotten rid of it in some places altogether. And it was a neat exercise, and I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. I'm mostly happy with how Mia turned out in this drawing. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about my Infernape drawing. I have no experience drawing fur, so that was definitely a challenge and something that I don't really know what I'm doing with, so I just kind of did my best. I'm also not very good at drawing fire. That's something I know about myself, so I just kind of did my best. But overall, I think I'm satisfied with it. And it was really fun playing around with the shading and playing around with the coloration in this piece. And my favorite part to draw was Mia's hair. I just like drawing hair in general, but I also am just really happy with how it turned out. I think it came together nicely in the end. You'll notice most of my drawings are just like a character's upper body. I hate drawing like lower body stuff. I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm very bad at drawing feet. Like most artists, I despise drawing hands, but I try to make myself do it so that I at least get some practice with it. But I don't always, I'm like, I can probably get away with just doing their upper body, so I don't even have to try to drawing the feet. It's mostly like shoes I'm very bad at. I should probably try to practice with them more, but it's just not something I have any skill with. Anyway, so yeah, that's what this drawing is about, and that's kind of what I was going for as I worked on it. Other things that are going on right now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the direct that we just had. I think it was just last week, right? And that is, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good direct overall, but I'm also a very, very simple woman that has two priorities when it comes to a Nintendo Direct. And that is, if you give me anything Fire Emblem or anything Ace Attorney, then I will be happy. And of course we got the announcement that Ace Attorney Investigations 1 and 2 are going to be re-released, and I'm very happy to see that. Especially for people that didn't get a chance to play them, because they're both really good games. I guess we'll still have to wait for that FE4 remake announcement that so many of us are waiting for. I know it was leaked that it was happening by the same, like with the same leak in which Engage was leaked. So that lends credibility to the leak, because since we got Engage, and you know, it was exactly what was leaked, that implies that the FE4 leak is also completely true. I just hope it wasn't canceled. My hope at this point is, you know, that it's gonna be like hopefully an early release on the Switch sequel, which we'll hear about more later. I don't expect we'll hear anything about that for a little while, maybe in the fall. But we'll see. You know, the Switch is obviously in its twilight years. It's kind of a nice thought that we won't get a Fire Emblem game at the very end of the Switch, because sometimes that, you know, leads to games not doing well. And I would rather see I'd rather see FE4 do well, and hopefully support the launch of more Fire Emblem remakes, because I want to see all the games get remade. My highest priority, of course, is an FE7 remake, but we need to get through all the other games to get there first, so, you know. Though I have wondered if they might remake either FE7 and FE6 together, or maybe even remake FE first, since it happens first chronologically. But I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much about that this far out, because it's probably many years away still. Speaking of games that, like, you know, we kind of need updated, I've always been really surprised that they've never released the Tellius games on Switch, on the Switch shop, or on the Switch online service. It just seems like a really, like, very much a missed opportunity. Like, the Tellius games are so beloved, but also, like, really hard to get. So, I don't know, it just seems like it's something that would be a really easy option if they wanted to do that. But anyway, I guess that's all the time that I have for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. That is my drawing of Mia and Inferni. I do want to do more drawings like this in the future, so stick around if you enjoyed watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing as well. I do plan to do more drawings like this in the future, and more videos like this, in which I draw and kind of talk about the character and the games and, you know, that kind of thing. But once again, thank you so much for joining me. Take care, have a wonderful day, and Gemini out.